Hello, good evening. I'm Ryan, and this is Follow Everton. Today, I've got Amy with me to talk about Everton's clash against Arsenal, top of the league. It never rains, it pours. We've come off the back of a defeat, and we've got to bounce back. And there's no place you'd rather go to, is there, than the Emirates Stadium, where we've got a terrible record in recent seasons. Amy, are you feeling nervous about this fixture?
I am feeling sick. I am terrified right now, and I know we've beat them, and that's what makes me more nervous, knowing that we'll have that little glimmer of hope that we just might do it. And I hate them little glimmers of hope.
And how are you feeling after your exploits on the weekend with the
Um,
rugby?
Pained.
You'll have to go and get your nails done. Good evening. If you're just joining us, welcome to Follow Everton. Make sure you like the video. And of course, if you're new here, subscribe, turn notifications on. Just like to make a couple of shout outs very quickly to those in the comments. We've got Ryan, Richo, Kevin, our regulars, Mr. Blue Skies, Eugene, and several others. Thank you for coming on. And I'm hoping we'll have more people over the course of the next 45 minutes or so as we talk about this massive game. So let's get straight to it. The press conference today with Sean Dyche, it's becoming a little bit predictable. Asking the same questions. This one today, again, about Calvert-Lewin. It's getting on my nerves now that I'm actually at the point where I'm sick of talking about Calvert-Lewin. I almost wish we'd just kind of sold him. I love the guy, but bloody hell, it's becoming unbearable. The thing with me, Amy, and I'll ask for your opinion on this. Dyche is now not being honest. He's not being transparent and just saying, look, yeah, he's injured. He's got a 4-week hamstring injury, or he's got an injury we can't manage. We don't know what it is, or it's something else, or it's just frustrating. He was touch and go for the derby, and that's 3 weeks ago, or at least 2 weeks ago. So what's going on here?
Honestly, like, to put a proper comment on it would be hard at this point because, like you said, the lack of transparency. Like before, he basically just shrugged his shoulders, didn't he? And he was like, he's not ready, don't know when he's going to be ready. And that doesn't fill us with all that much hope. But like Kevin said there, he's had a scan and they've not found anything at all. So all you can assume, bless him, is that there's something else going on behind closed doors where it's a bit deeper than maybe a physical injury, or maybe these physical injuries are getting to him a little bit more than you would expect maybe from professional athletes. But obviously I'm not a professional athlete, Christ, I don't even run upstairs. But like,
it can't be easy though for him to be
to
out
see all
injured
the
for
comments
so long
about him as well. He knows that his name's going to come up in these press conferences. He knows that people are going to tweet about him, are going to write on the Facebook groups about him, and it must be difficult, like, seeing that backlash towards yourself, because he does get a lot of backlash generally anyway, bless him.
Yeah.
So I think it might
for
just be
being
a little
different.
bit deeper than a general injury.
It's difficult for us to speculate because, you don't want to go out there and start saying the guy's got mental health problems. But now it's rumors because it's self-inflicted, because the manager could just come out and say, yeah, it's a physical problem. He's got a muscular injury, or he's done something and we're not quite sure. He's got to see specialists. We don't have a time frame on it because of the nature of the injury. I'd rather he was honest, because I'm sat here getting excited for the press conferences thinking Calvert-Lewin could be back. And for me, that's the difference between... I'd say he gives you an extra 25% chance of winning a match.
Yeah.
I think you go from, certainly in that Villa game, I would have said we had a 50% of beating Villa, and we would have had a 75% chance of beating Aston Villa with Calvert-Lewin. And now at Arsenal, I think we go from maybe a 10% chance of winning the game and maybe a 25% chance of a draw. And possibly with Calvert-Lewin, you might have a 20% chance of winning and a 30% chance of the draw. I don't know. I think it just gives you a lot more. I feel like the rest of the team becomes lifted when they know they've got a target man, a focal point. And the fact of the matter is, he's not played for us this season. He's got one goal, and we're being strung a web of lies, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm utterly furious with someone as honest and frank as Sean Dyche that he can't just say the guy's got an injury, he's out for 4 weeks. It's a medical thing. Everyone knows in medicine what your injury is and how long you're going to be out for. He's saying he doesn't know. Do you think we're being pied off?
I think he probably can't say, especially if it is something more than a physical injury. It's not really on him to be able to come out and say that. If Calvert-Lewin doesn't want to come out and say it himself, if the club and people who work in communications are saying to him, don't go too far and give them too much, just tell them we don't know when he's going to be back. But like you said, it would have been a lot more reassuring if he could have just told us that there isn't a time frame because of the nature of the injury and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to say it's a hamstring injury and he's going to be seeing a specialist and we're looking at about 4 weeks, especially if it is something deeper than a physical injury. You can get away with saying there isn't really a time frame on this kind of injury that he's suffering right now. Doesn't need to tell us the full story, but he needs to give us more than half a percentage of a story because he's not even giving us half a story there, really.
The fans deserve
a bit
better.
Ragged off as well. We're being asked constantly the same questions over and over again because he doesn't seem like the kind of man that wants to repeat himself.
Just while we're talking about Calvert-Lewin, I'm going to bring in some of the comments on this because I do think this is a massive sort of topic that's going around today. And our friend Chris is saying it's an unpopular opinion, but he thinks he's okay with Dyche is saying. And the reason I challenge Chris, I'd just say that because the fans have been strung along so badly by the board, by the ownership, by the recruitment, I think that we just deserve a little bit more answers, maybe more transparency. He could say, you know, he's got this type of injury, but if he genuinely doesn't know, then that's fair enough. If he genuinely has no answers. And Dyche said he's back on the grass. So, I mean, that is a positive thing, I suppose. But I just want to know what the hell's going on with him because it's the only decent player we've got. I'm just looking at some of the other...
don't we, for decent communication. That is all we are begging for. It's like being in a relationship.
It's like some lad chasing you.
Just tell me what's going on.
Will you go out with me?
I'm just tired.
I've said no. I've said
pissed
no
off
before.
I'm not... Just tell me what's going on. Like that's what this is right now, isn't it?
It's getting infuriating. It's like nagging. It's like, yeah. It's like, Mum, were you tired of your room? No. Stop asking me the same question every week. Mark is saying Keane or Mina the target man. I mean, at this point, I honestly think I'd probably rather have Michael Keane up from or someone like Yerry Mina or stick them both up because I think if the idea is to get balls in the box, they're going to win headers. 1v1 against centre backs.
No one's expecting Yerry Mina up front. They wouldn't even know how to deal with her.
It's desperate times. Moving on for now, we'll come back to it. There's plenty to talk about. He talks about the injuries to Garner, James Garner, who signed from Man United. He's barely played. He's been out for 3 months. He's back training with the team and he's close. But the same with Patterson, but Patterson's a little bit far behind Amy. But they're both fit. They're both medically fit. They're both physically fit. But I think Sean Dyche has got these exemplary standards for fitness and neither of them are that level. But how can they do it without games? Is that why they're in the under 20 and 21s?
Yeah,
it's not the same standard though, is it?
It's the sharpness in it. Like if they're not fully ready to go in and play a full, intense Premier League game and he thinks it's going to hinder us rather than help us having him in right now, I don't think Arsenal personally would be the one where I'd risk starting him. But mind you, he did risk playing Sims in the derby, didn't he? Which was a bit of a surprise to me. But I think up against Brentford, we'll definitely see them in games like that rather than these big ones where we are going to have to fully give it our all to scrape a point at this point and not be, absolutely annihilated. I know that's a terribly unoptimistic opinion, but if you want to risk him being injured again as well, like imagine him being out for 3 months and taking a knock and that sets him back another 3 weeks, we'd be raging.
I know, but if he's medically fit, surely there isn't much of a risk any more than normal. He did say, as Eugene is saying in the comments, James Garner is going to be playing for the under-21s this week. Fair enough. If he's not quite ready to make an impact. And also I'd say the need for James Garner might be less than Patterson at this stage, just because if we are playing midweek games and the fixtures, we've still got like a lot of games to play and it's in a very short space of time. We need options at right back. It's an area where you could say, you know, you want Patterson in there. I really do want to see James Garner back because I think Idrissa Gana Gueye is having mixed. He's having mixed games. The same with Onana. I just think they have an easy ride because there isn't the options there. And I'd love to see a fully fit James Garner coming in, being able to dictate play and get involved, and someone who can shoot from outside the box. Because it's like watching. We've got no technical players. We've got no one who can shoot from outside the box. No one who can shoot in the box. No one who can beat a man. And you know, you've got to have a little bit of magic. And I think Gardner did quite well for Forest last season in the Championship. I would love to see him involved. But listen, he's not going to be involved. Neither's Nathan Patterson, who's a bit far behind.
Makes me so
other than that,
upset.
Exactly. I know you fancy him. But apart from that, there's not a lot of of options to change it in sort of the forward areas and out wide.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of centre backs. We've got 6 centre backs and 1 out on loan. The best one's out on loan for PSV. Yeah, so at the same time, it's difficult to pick a team. Dyche said about the press conference, about Arsenal. He said it's a massive game. We're underdogs. Of course, we're underdogs. He said everyone will have written us off, but we haven't written ourselves off. We're going to go there to try and get a positive result, which would be you'd say a draw. I'd snap you. I'd pay for a draw right now. Was there anything you? Is there anything you can take out of the press conference as well that you'd like to highlight, maybe on what Sean Dyche said about anything in particular?
I think the way he's saying about, like you said, the exemplary fitness is how it came across to me. It seems like he does have incredibly high standards for us, and it seems like, dare I say the H word, he has a bit of hope. Like he seems to be fitting in quite well with him. It seems like they have a lot of respect for him as well. Like, it's daft silly things like he's been calling James Garner Jimmy since day one. Like, daft silly things like that. Looks like he does have a bit of a relationship that he's already building with the squad. There wasn't anything that could make him massively uncomfortable there today, like questions about the board and that they've usually been throwing at him.
Yeah.
So he kind of had the opportunity to just talk Everton and the fixture for once as well, which was quite nice. And he does seem confident in them. He seems like he's confident in their abilities and stuff like that. And I feel like that wasn't anything I ever really got from the Lampard press conferences. He never really went out of his way to tell me like how he knew that we were the underdogs and that's why we do better when everyone writes us off and stuff like that. And I like that. That seems to be one of the things that he was pushing there was don't lose the faith. We're going to go in and we're going to try our best, I suppose. And I liked that from him. I thought it was nice because it wasn't the longest of press conferences today either, I don't think.
No, Jazz put it on for me and it was over before. It was kind of said, if you skip through this, I mean, it was quite a short one. To be fair, we're not getting the answers we want about certain things. He's not going to start talking about transfers and stuff. Talking about the fixture for what it is at face value. I like Sean Dyche. I'm happier with the way he's got us set up and the way we're playing in games. I think it does play to our strengths, whatever those may be. Where I'd completely become utterly disillusioned with Lampard after we got thrashed by Bournemouth twice away from home, who were the worst team in the league. So, I mean, I don't want to go into it too much, but we have paid the price for not sacking Lampard before the World Cup.
Yeah.
And getting business done and making more mistakes again, letting Gordon go without a replacement as amateur. We continue to make amateur things. I don't want to make this a rant about the board and how the club's run, but I do want to make it around. I'm frustrated about the fact, the reason we didn't beat Aston Villa for me was purely because we didn't have the lethal finishers who can put the ball in the net. And against Arsenal, really, what are they going to do? It's a very difficult environment to go to. A Wednesday night under the lights, they're top of the league, they're flying. But at the same time, maybe Man City were. I would be more concerned about playing Man City. I mean, I don't think the stadium is quite as intimidating, but we got a result there. And
I wrote us off that night. I really did.
Yeah.
You seen me, all of you seen me. I was saying we were going to get done 6-0. I had bets on, not that I'm promoting gambling, for horrific scores, and I was so proud of us that night. Like the passion we played with, and they played like I knew they could. These players are not terrible footballers. Some of them, if heaven forbid we did get relegated, would get Premier League contracts next season. They don't. I know they have no worries about that. And that's how they played. They played like Premier League footballers, and it was brilliant. And if we can go in with that kind of confidence, if writing us off as the underdogs on away days is what gives us the confidence to go out and play to the best of our abilities, then I'll write them off every week.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like you always support the underdog. I mean, maybe not like last night in the boxing because that fella's a red, isn't he? The poor guy.
Yeah,
but
underdogs to me, I'm
both
not even bothered.
It's like two men hugging. But yeah, we have to. We can't write this game off as underdogs and just say, we're going to go there and just get turned over like we possibly would have done against City. We've got to go there with a plan. We've got to try and get a result. Every game is massive. Now, last season we played them. We beat them at home, but we got absolutely trounced 5-2. We had Begovic, who might as well. He was like a doormat. He didn't move for half the goals. He was utterly useless. the statues that would have been more effective in goal against Arsenal. I think you need a mobile keeper for that sort of game. I don't think you need a big grueling
it's this
sort of
sweeper keeper role in it that we all seem to be using nowadays. Not many people are your standard stay on your line goalkeepers anymore, and Pickford is very mobile. I love him. I think he's a brilliant goalkeeper. I'm very, very happy he's signed those new 4 years. It looks like gives me more confidence that he's got more
4 years
confidence
of
as
hell.
well.
Yeah, listen, I think there's something in the works, but I just think the cost of relegation is far much bigger than that's awful. Far bigger than the cost for overpaying on a striker in January would have been. So that's the way I see it. It's utterly infuriating that we're in this position. And Arsenal, top of the league, they need the points. I'm gonna give you our. We've talked, by the way, if you're just joining us, we've already done team news. It's basically the same, but you can rewind, of course. Our head-to-head record with Arsenal. Let's just get that up. So we've won 65 times, drawn 46, and lost 109. In fairness, large periods where we got battered by them in the early 30s, we were losing games against them. In the 40s, we were losing games against them. There's wins, and then there was a good period between 61 and 65, 66, I should say, where we beat them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, but we did lose 3 times. Then we were quite good in the. I'm just looking here. We were bad against them in the early 80s. We played them 79, 80, 80. 81, 81. We lost to them 5 times, beat them once in the FA Cup, 2-0 in 81. And then another bad period. We were in our prime at this point, but we were getting battered by, I nearly said bums, but I realised this is quite inappropriate. 82 to 84. Again, loss, draw, loss. Then we had a resurgence in 85, 86, and then pretty much onwards. 88, 88, 88. 89. We lost twice in the League Cup. We lost 3 times in the league. We beat them in 89, but then it's really poor. There's a period between 91 and 91 and 2000 when we only beat them once. Few draws in there, mostly losses. And then the 2000s onwards, honestly, we beat them in 2002 and 2006, 2007, but all the other games, loss. Loss. 1 win, 2014. Away from home, we're particularly bad at Highbury and the Emirates. I mean, at the Emirates, the one that got away was the Stephen Pienaar one where he chipped the keeper in the snow, and then we ended up still conceding in the 93rd minute of stoppage time. So we've not had the best luck there, but we did beat them in 2019, I think it was. No. We beat them 1-0 2021 when we went on a mad run away from home where we were winning we won like 12 or 13 away games. I mean, where's this gone? But I think there were no fans in the ground. I think that made a big difference. And I think it was an own goal. But our recent record, actually, Amy, since 2019 April, we beat them 1-0, drawn a 0-0 at home again, lost away 3-2, tight game, beat them 3 times on the bounce, home, away, home. Then we lost 5-1 to them, as I said earlier last season, and we beat them on the last sort of 4 years where we've been shite. We've actually beat them.
That's where we've gone. We're not even that shite.
We've beat them 5 times and lost twice and drawn once. You know, in summary, actually, Kevin, we're the favourites now. I'm already messing, but the record against Arsenal is not great. We've won once at the Emirates Stadium, and we're due win. In terms of their injuries as well, I want to go and look at them if that's okay. But how would you say Arsenal have played this season, Amy? Have you enjoyed watching them, or
it pains me to say it whilst we're going up against them? But yeah, they've been brilliant, haven't they? Like, Arteta needed that time to kind of find his feet within managing Premier League football like that, and he really has done. Like, I know there was a bit of period where they weren't too happy with him and stuff like that, and they weren't all that hopeful, but it seems like everyone's on board the Arteta bus right now. They're all very much enjoying it. The drums are back out, the fans are singing, they love it. Arsenal fan TV, I've not heard him complain once.
No, they've got the Arteta money. Someone's got the Arteta money, and it's not us.
But,
excuse me, they have done very well.
They have been good.
They do moan a lot. I mean, we've rebranded as Follow Everton Fan TV, so I'm not going to start coming on and start acting like they do on there. But they are there. It's a fantastic channel, of course. People watch it whether you support Arsenal or not. But we're going to save the drama for another time. The injury news, Amy. I mean, you expect them to be near full strength, apart from Gabriel Jesus, who no doubt would be resurrecting probably for this fixture as we approach Easter and bagging a hat trick as he always does. He's a nemesis of us.
Yeah, we've just
anyone
got very,
with a bit
very
of good
lucky
movement.
with him still being injured.
But he's not back till the middle of March, so that's it. And Mohamed Elneny, I don't really care about. So we've got a fully fit team, and you'd say the star players for them who've been good for them in their run were like Bakayo, Saka, and Martinelli. I'm not mad on Nketiah, but he'll probably bag against us now. I've mentioned him.
He'd do well in a setup like ours if we could ever tempt him. I reckon. I don't hate him. I don't massively rate him, but if there's anyone he's gonna prove his place in the team with, it'll be against us.
You need the goal. It'll be against us. We can take a bit of hope though, in the fact that their only defeat in recent times is against us, and the way we played them, Amy, we kind of pushed them to the wings and then pressed them very wide. Them when they got the ball out wide. We doubled up against their wingers and against their fullback, and pretty much stopped them playing through the middle of the pitch, and allowed them to play it out wide before winning the ball back. So we had a clear plan, and we also pressed them when we could, force them to go long. We had Calvert-Lewin fit; he was holding the ball up really well. Yeah. And we had players getting around him and off him. And I think with Calvert-Lewin in this team, as I said before, it makes me want to cry because I think it's set up perfectly for him with the way we cross the ball and the set pieces and the midfielders supporting him. And we've got the potential to be a team of powerhouses.
But that we don't have a backup Calvert-Lewin in it. Like, I know we say it all the time, but the fact that we only have that one solid option is just a disgrace. Like,
and he's not solid.
Because he isn't. He's
not solid. He's not a solid option. That's the thing.
Like, it actually is. So it is a bit of a shame, but
yeah,
we might get a few fancy set pieces for the defenders because we've turned it to set piece FC now. But
I don't mind that. I mean, I think, as I say, we've got midfielders. If we get a goal,
I don't care how we get it. I really don't. If Pickford's doing a Tim Howard and firing it from one goal to other, I really couldn't care less. So long as someone gets on that score sheet.
In fairness, though, we've got to be realistic here, and I don't want to be Debbie Downer. I'm looking at their results. They lost to Man City and they lost to us, and then they drew with Brentford. So they had a mini sort of period.
Yeah.
And then they lost to Man City again. But then after that Man City defeat, I think they pulled themselves together. They pulled it back against Villa, beat Arsenal, beat Leicester narrowly. We only played them on the 4th of February. You know, it's only 23 days ago.
Feels
3
like
weeks.
Forever ago, doesn't it?
Feels like forever. And honestly, Arsenal at home, I think they're going to have more space. We have to approach the game similarly to we did at Goodison, or actually do we have to just kind of play very low block, camp, and try and get forward? The reason I'm not agitating for the second option is because I'm not convinced we've got anyone with a modicum of pace to get us up the pitch to actually counter-attack. If we sit too deep, I think that'll be that. It'll just be another Merseyside derby all over again.
Yeah.
I think we've got to try and press them, try and do what we did against them at home and not be scared of them because they crumbled against us. They were done by the set piece. I think they're the type of team that we can get something from them with the set pieces, but we have to be solid defensively. We have to keep the shape and not make silly mistakes like we did against Aston Villa, where we're giving penalties away. We're getting caught out from throw-ins. We're getting done with stupid. I mean, Connor Cody, I'm going to come to him now, but he was terrible for that second goal.
Yeah,
Mikolenko wasn't great. So this leads me on to the next thing. We've talked about Arsenal's record. It's strong. We've beat them. We saw how we beat them earlier in the season with the way we pressed and narrowed the spaces.
They are beatable. So keep the small glimmer of hope.
Keep a small glimmer of hope. So it leads me to saying about the team in terms of picking the team. Is there an argument to say that you need to bring in? It's not going to happen, but it's an argument to say you need to bring in Mason Holgate at right back and Ben Godfrey at centre half and Yerry Mina. And because we've got the Nottingham Forest game on Sunday, which is huge because they're kind of being sucked a little bit back into it along with Crystal Palace. Is that a bigger game than Arsenal? In which case, do you rest players?
I was just going to say that it is so heartbreaking that Nottingham Forest is a bigger game than top of the league Arsenal right now, but it is like Arsenal. If we could scrape the points, I'll have a party. I'll throw it myself. Like, I'll get the nibbles in. It'd be lovely. But Forest is the one where I am going to be like edge of me seat,
Brilliant.
terrified in case we don't do that because they are closer to us. That's that
I'm
relegation battle.
I'm going the Forest game. Mabs has got me a ticket, and I'm like, do I really want to travel 2 hours and 20 or 30 minutes to go and watch Everton get like fluky defeat or something, or get battered by Forest?
Have
They've
two
come up.
JD and Cooks and just enjoy yourself. Just go for the day trip. It's a party. It's a
I
holiday.
need to get on a coach. They're going they're getting what is it? They're coming up from the Championship. All these teams: Bournemouth, Fulham, Forest, and although Bournemouth lost, they are flying considering what you'd expect from a team with a small budget. That, you know, they're doing well to even be in the thought of trying to stay up. So I'm infuriated by what's going on. I really want to come on here and be a happy clap. Oh yeah, we're gonna win. I might have to come out and come back in the stream as someone else.
I wonder who's gonna come in as. What's your odds on that one? I hope he puts like a wig on or something like that. Like, gets Jazz to sit in the back with her and comes on and he's like, oh, I'm really excited, can't wait. But it's gonna be I'm stressed. I hope you're not all as stressed. I'm sorry I never help you, do I? I am a proper unoptimistic blue. But look at that. I'm funny, I know. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate you. I really do. But Tazul says here, it's going to be a thrashing. At least you're afraid about it, I suppose. It's nice to put that in. But drop Cody and Iwobi. Oh, I don't want to drop Iwobi. I'm riding the Iwobi wave since he's been good for that half a season. I would want to put Godfrey in, but I'm sure Ryan's going to get me on to picking my team again in a minute, and I'm going to embarrass myself again, aren't I? But there we go. Chris is onto it. 9-0 the Toffees. Where is he? Oh, I've just kicked him out trying to add him. I'm so sorry, Ryan.
Hello. I'm Mr. Positive.
Where have you got that hat from?
Well, I did have a wig, but I couldn't find the wig. I think we pinned it. Yes, actually, I didn't want to do this voice. I want to do more of a Scouse voice, if that's okay. Hello, Amy. Yeah, to be honest with you, you know, Everton are a bigger club than Arsenal. We're going to go down there. We're gonna really suffocate them and stop them getting out their box. We've got great talent in the squad. You know, at under 8 level, not at first team level, under 8 level, and I think we can do big things at Arsenal. When we leave the game, you know, when we're on our way home, we can have a few beverages. We'll do big things, but we've got to get a result somehow.
Listen, Mr. Positive, it's not happening. We're shit.
That's me trying to be positive, and the reality is,
the butt started creeping in anyway. It's impossible. He can't do it. He can't physically do it.
I've had to put on a persona to actually be positive, because I really genuinely don't know how I can sit on here saying, I'm just need to change them. I'm not actually Mr. Positive. I don't know. I can't actually sit on here saying and run a stream and think positively about this, because I think if we go low block, we won't be able to get up the pitch. Excuse me. We'll go block. We won't be able to get up the pitch, and we go and press them. I think they will carve us open. But Amy, I want your tactical brain here. What can we do to get a result here? You're talking about the set pieces. They're going to be massive. You're talking about the way we can overpower them in midfield, and the fact that we've actually beat them already a few weeks ago. So we have a way to win. How can we replicate that away from home? Is it a case of the same mentality, setting the team up the same 11, minus Calvert-Lewin? So you go with Sims maybe as a like-for-like replacement? Or are you really focused on changing it with the game at the Forest at the weekend of such an importance? Are you bringing in maybe, there's no midfielders there to choose from apart from Davis perhaps, but are you bringing in Godfrey or Mina or Keane? Is Gray getting a start?
I want to bring Ben Godfrey in. I want to bring Damari Gray in. I need Damari Gray's pace. I need his want. He is dying to score, recreate that screamer, and he recreated it at City, and he wants to do it again, and just let him give it a go. Like, I know he's not as strong defensively as McNeil is, and that's why he's not picking him consistently. But I think picking the same 11 like for like would be a bit daft as well, because Arteta's not stupid. Oh, hello. He's
Every bloody stream.
he's not daft. He will
The
have
Everton
watched that
cat.
game over and over again. He'd have had them all watching it, and they'll know exactly how to recombat it if we set up the exact same way again. But I say it every week, if we just override their midfield again, like, they've been such a strong side, and they were nervous against us at that game at Goodison. You could tell in the way that they were putting off shots, and they were stressing out because they couldn't get through the middle the way that they used to play. And if we can keep them tight and within our areas where we're comfortable with marking them and stuff like that, and playing to our strengths again, we might just do it.
The thing is, you talk about. I am awfully sorry. Can you?
They love keyboards and computers, like they actually do.
The fact is, yeah, we've done it, and you can say you'll have us watching the videos again to see whether we can replicate our element of it. The cat's called Charlie. To replicate their element of it, and you can imagine that Arsenal will also do the same thing, and they'll be watching the video so they can replicate them to try and do the opposite. But I think
it's hard to do the opposite, though, of course, isn't it? When you're so used to playing a certain way, if the opposite doesn't fit in with how you play as a player, they may struggle there.
We've got to go and stifle them and do the typical away performance. And what I mean by that is the ball goes out for a throw. I take 10 seconds. I don't take 2. The goal kicks. I pick it up and move it on the other side. I break up play. Not be afraid. We've got to do this. We've got to not be afraid to tackle in areas and actually foul them. Small niggly fouls to break up play. Stop Arsenal dictating. Stop Arsenal getting momentum. And as I say, when we're getting counter-attack, maybe we have gone forward for a little spell of 3 seconds. We can... little spell of 3 seconds. We can try and break up play by fouling them on the counter attack and not being afraid to get a yellow card if that's the case.
Yeah.
But we can't. It can't be every time we go forward we have to bring someone down and get booked. We've got to have the shape. We've got to have the players in the right areas to pick up the second balls as well. It can't be like, oh yeah, we're now having our one attack this half and we have to bring someone down because they just played out through us so quickly. So we've got to be nasty, haven't we, Amy? We've got to be horrible to play against again. Time waste, the dark arts, and aggressive behaviour.
Yeah. Like, I think they all agreed that after the derby, they were too nice. These are the kind of games where you've got to go in and you've got to go in hard, and you've got to use silly, awful tactics that people will slag us off for on Twitter about time wasting. And, oh, Jordan Pickford should have got a yellow card for that. He's absolutely ridiculous. He always does it all the time. And they're all booing him. Like, I just think we've got to try and make the game our own as much as possible. And I know it's hard to do that on an away day and settle in nicely and stuff like that. But if we can just keep them relatively unsettled, have them a bit nervous about going past certain players and worrying about maybe like Onana, death taxes, Onana getting a yellow card. Get the yellow card, Onana, it's fine. Especially if Garner's coming back to replace him for Forest as well.
Well, actually, Amy, I'm interjecting there and saying Onana, when he got a yellow card against Aston Villa, was terrible for the rest of the game because he couldn't put a foot in.
He was nervous.
Yeah. So I don't know whether we can afford someone like Onana, whose main attribute is tackling, to be on a yellow.
Yeah.
But it's being clever and knowing when to tackle and assessing the situation and thinking that the experienced players, we've got to win that midfield battle, win the second balls, press them in the right areas. You know, when they're receiving it under pressure initially, for example, or when it's out wide where you've got less space for them to kind of jink their way out of. Basically, all I'm asking is for a repeat performance of what happened in Goodison.
Yeah.
All I'm asking for is aggression, discipline, make good fouls, break up play, and take your chances. And I think we'll get 1 or 2 chances. I think we'll get a couple of set plays. I honestly think the best chances are 0-0. But Amy, you're going to give me a team now that is going to win the game.
Okay. You're all going to hate me for this. I'm going to do it again. I'm going for about 5.
Have you tagged it out first? So because you did
No.
last time you did this.
I was on my way home from work and I was like, right, I'm really thinking about this. I'm gonna go tactical. I'm gonna tell you who my substitutions are gonna be. Like, I've thought it through. Are you ready? So, hit me all you want. Mikalenko's staying on the left. He is decent defending wise, and if you keep him in there, he's just gonna get better. So don't at me over that one. Mikalenko on the left, Cody, Mina, Take, Coleman. I'm trusting him. I'm starting to trust him again. I don't know why I ever lost trust in him.
Starting you there, you've gone for 5 at the back.
I have gone for 5 at the back.
And you've kept Connor Cody in.
Yeah.
He was terrible against Villa. Why have you kept him in?
I think he seems like the kind of person.
Chris is not happy. He says, 5 at the back, you've lost me. Let's let her finish. Come on, explain, justify where you've gone with 5. Because normally what we do when we go for 5 at the back against Arsenal, we have 5 statues in a line. No one. 5 at the back is great when the wing backs get forward and attack.
That's what I want. I want everyone in a line at the back so that they can't get past us at the back. So, everyone at the back, net's there, everyone stood in front of it. There's no issues.
You know what? I want Chris's team.
I want us to be defensive.
Chris, you've got the link. Come in on your phone or what were before on audio and give us your team. Give us your team if you want.
Chris is going to come in and be like, listen, it was lovely to meet you, Amy, but shut up.
So, I mean, to be fair, 5 at the back, normally if you play it well, you can defend well, especially if there's 4 in midfield as well.
Yeah,
I think when it becomes a 5-2-3, you get carved through. So give us the rest of the team. Come on. We've got 5 at the back.
So I've got my 5 at the back and then my 4 in the middle because I can do maths really well. I'm on 9 there if I've got 4 in the middle. I want Doucouré, Onana. Oh, Iwobi and Gray moving. You're going to shout at me because they're going to end up as a 2 on their own. I know they are, but I want them helping us get forward as well. Wobbs is not that bad defensively either if he needs to be there. Then we're going to have...
You're not tempted to put Iwobi in midfield and bring Gray in on the wing?
Yeah, so Iwobi could be... Oh, yeah, because we could have a 5.
4-5-1.
No.
You want that extra centre-back, don't you?
I do want the extra centre-back.
Who's up front, Amy? Just before I challenge you on this team and give you mine.
Okay.
The reason I don't like your team, and I mean this in a nice, friendly way as a friend, I don't like having the 5 defenders because it does become 5 statues. And the way Arsenal play, they don't have a really recognised world-class centre-forward playing in the team. They've got Nketiah. So I would rather have another midfielder in there who can track Odegaard, who can stop Saka cutting in and Martinelli cutting in and actually have the midfield numbers, but still have the defensive shape. So I don't think it'll be a 5. I don't want a 5.
I'm just stupid. I see more at the back means less chance of them scoring. That's what I always think.
But it doesn't tend to work with us.
Manager. It doesn't. So if
it doesn't tend to work with us.
If I have to admit that I'm always wrong when I pick this team, and we go 4 at the back with the normal 4, take Mina out of it, or maybe replace Cody for Mina if you're also angry with me for having Cody still in.
No, Amy, that's your team. 5-4-1.
And then
you've gone with Sims up front. You've dropped Dwight McNeil. Why have you dropped Dwight McNeil?
Yeah, I've dropped Dwight.
Right, I've got
he
to
has
see.
A brilliant work rate. He's just terrified of shooting with his other foot. And the amount of times I watch him and I'm like,
so basically, he's our best player, but he pissed you off for scoring 3 open goals. Yeah,
I'm like, go on, Dwight, go again. Just go that little bit further, shoot it. No, never mind. Okay, it's fine. You've lost the ball. Someone else has got it. Don't worry about it. It's okay, Dwight. And I say that every week. And I'd rather have Gray in there right now for the chance of scoring. I just think the chance of us actually scoring a goal from the wing is higher from Gray than it is from McNeil at the minute. If he can get that confidence and try it, I'll forgive him and I'll have him back in my theoretical team. I do want a substitution on the 60th minute, Mina for Sims though. I want to then move.
This is a really difficult one because I can see your argument for 5. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the shape. I think we'll set up very similar to how we did against them at home.
Yeah.
And I think Ellis Sims has got to start the game instead of Neil Maupay. because Mopé had there was a mitigating circumstances for him for a few months where you could say, well, Mopé was starved of service, but he wasn't really getting himself in the right areas to finish anyway, and there was no chances to finish. So there's more than one reason.
I've got that new signing fever still with him, where I'm like, come on, just prove why you're here, just do it. Because as soon as he gets that first goal, a decent goal, a strong goal. I know he's already had one on
finishing exactly. He'll probably start getting on the end of them. But the reason I'm saying not to go with Sims, and listen, I want your opinion. I don't want to sit here and agree with you because it makes bloody boring television if you were saying, yeah, let's go with the same. I want to argue with you. I don't want Mopé necessarily because I don't think we're going to have a sustained possession. I think we need someone who can actually hold the long ball up and allow other people to get in. And Sims, although he's not perfect, he's probably a mid-level championship striker. I don't know how you can clamour for Mopé because he missed so many chances against Villa and he missed chances against Leeds. So he's had opportunities to score. It wasn't like the other few months where he didn't get a sniff. He's had a sniff. He didn't put it in the bag. In fact, the shot where he should score, where he's passed to from Dwight McNeil down at the Park End stand against Villa, he literally passes it into the keeper's hands. He makes it so easy. So the bloody awful both options. I think Mopé could be good in a 4-4-2 with a Calvert-Lewin alongside him and a team that does allow him a bit more freedom. You know, we can play the ball into the box and stuff. I think as a target man, he's utterly pointless.
Yeah, he's not, is he? He's too unpredictable and too unreliable. Sorry is the right word.
You're going with a 5-4-1 with Neil Mopé up front?
Yeah, still am. I just can't.
What is the strategy here? Is it just stick out and hope for the best?
Yeah. Part
I think you're still hungover. Right, I want comments now, please, guys. I want everyone's team. I think Amy is entitled to her opinion, but I don't necessarily agree with it. And I really do think that.
Shit opinion.
No, you know what? I think he's going to go with the same team.
Yeah, he will.
As he played against Arsenal at home.
Sims just makes me nervous.
With Sims in, and the
thing is exactly it. That's what. There we go. I'm going for the point.
You're going for a point. I think there's a few options here. You could put Iwobi into midfield, and you could bring Damari Gray in for his pace on the counter-attack. I think you could bring in Ben Godfrey at right back. I actually do think we need to make a change at right back. I don't think Coleman can play Saturday, Wednesday, and then on Sunday. So I think he's got to make a change. I think what happening to Everton at the moment is we're playing well for 60 minutes, and then we're kind of looking tired. We're not pressing as well because we are dropping off. Decore dropping off, and he was brilliant, by the way. But you know, we need fresh legs because I think if we do play the same team again, I think they'll tire, and then we've got the game on Sunday, and I think it's going to be too much. So we're going to have to make changes. Personally, I think there'll be people asking for. Sorry, sweetheart, what are you saying?
Who would you swap out for Coleman? Would you get Godfrey back in now he's back from injury?
Yeah.
Or... Yeah.
I think you've got to. I think he's a terrible right back, but I think Coleman's needed for Sunday. You could even say Mason Holgate. So Holgate or Coleman at right back, and then I think Connor Cody, you could drop him, but he's so passive. But you know he's not gonna be dropped. It's gonna be you could say Yerry Mina could start or Godfrey, and Godfrey could play centre back with Holgate at right back, just to freshen it up. Because I say the biggest thing is the legs. And we've got tired players. We're beaten before we've even started. On Wednesday and on Sunday. I want to know what people think about this. Do they want to see changes? Do they want to see people in? Do they want to see the team completely shaken up? Which is not really possible. But do we bring in a lot of players to keep the main players fresh for Sunday? Or do we just have to go with the same team and hope we can get some momentum and bounce back from the Villa game? Also on the basis that we beat Arsenal earlier in the season. So... please, teams, in the comments, I'm going to read them out. I'm going to see which ones we've got here. We've got FGA Football, one of our regulars. He's going for Pickford, Coleman, Tarky, Godfrey. So I'm assuming Godfrey's in at left back. Onana, Garner, Decore, Iwobi, Gray, and Sims.
That's pretty solid. He's got a better.
I mean, it's the same midfield, but he's dropped Dwight McNeil for Gray.
I think we all just missed Damari Gray, don't we? I can't believe we're saying it, but we do. I
don't really miss Damari Gray, actually. I think he's very inconsistent. He'll kind of play a 90-minute match and he won't do anything for 50 minutes of it. And he'll look good for 40. I don't know, Amy. I really don't know. I think I just want to say that Dwight McNeil was our best player against Villa, despite the fact he should have scored.
Just playing in the rest of the team, and he like generally, trying to think of the right way to say it, like his work rate, that's the right word, is phenomenal. He is actually brilliant. He does always seem to be, doesn't stop running, bless him. He must be shattered when he gets on. But like, it's that lack of consistency with being an attacking player that gets me, I think. But obviously, like, Demarai Gray isn't the best attacker either. So
Well, it's not like
a
he's
weird
done
one, isn't
anything
it?
wrong, McNeil. It's maybe
Yeah.
that this guy FGA is saying, you know, or girl is saying we need the pace on the counter attack. They're talking about the relegation. I want more teams, please. I've got Chris's team. He's going for Michaelenko, Godfrey, Tarkovsky, Coleman. So Cody's dropped in the game or rested, and McNeil, Onana, Garner. I think Godfrey brings in the pace as well. Just helps if we do need someone who can actually run back. Because it's the slowest team I've ever witnessed. We had some slow teams in Des Moines, but this is unbelievable. My grandma's 95 in a couple of weeks, and she could run faster than half of these. McNeil, Onana, Garner, Iwobi, Gray, and Sims. So it's very similar. But he's brought in. I'm assuming Iwobi's playing in midfield, or it's a 4-4-2. Interesting. Decore drops out, maybe, or rested. Is he rested? But he doesn't expect that team. Mr. Blue Skies is going for Vinagre, Tarkovsky, Mina, and Holgate. So he's really, really shaping it up here. But then he's going with, and it's Godfrey. And interestingly, Demarai Gray looks like he's playing centre half in a back five. Only messing. So he's making changes in the defence, but Godfrey's a holding midfielder. Interesting.
I will sit there and I will say I like the sound of Godfrey as a holding midfielder. He can do it. Generally, I do believe that if you wanted to retrain him as a defensive midfielder, he'd do well.
I think
we
he's a
just don't have
player
the
that
time to be dicking around retraining people.
We don't know who he is, Ben Godfrey.
Is he like susceptible to injuries though, or does he just get unlucky? Is my other question with him. Like, I don't know. Yeah, really.
With Godfrey.
Yeah, like I don't know. The more his time with us goes on, I think you injured again.
No, I think again. he just can't get in the team. There's no space for him. I think Michaelenko and Coleman are safe in their positions. I think the manager trusts them all. He trusts all four of them. I thought Yerry Mina would be his right up the street and Michael Keane, but it is what it is.
Anyone's street. Mind you, though, every time I say that, he goes and pulls out a world-class performance, so hopefully Michael Keane starts, and I've just jinxed it for him to do a world-class performance.
What world-class performance? He's not played all season. Look at these comments. There's a lot of different... The I'm sure he was at fault for one of the goals we conceded, and then we went at the other end and he scored a volley.
That header was probably accidental as well, to be honest.
Looking at some of these comments here, I know you're exhausted, Amy, and you've been at work, so we won't go on for too much longer. I do appreciate you coming on here. Jeff is still sorting his internet out. He thought he was getting a new fibre line today, 27th of this month. Turn out it's 27th of bloody March. So we're going to be looking at him through, like, you might as well have binoculars or something when you're watching Jeff at the moment. But he does have a new camera. He does have a new mic. He just doesn't have the internet, and the three things, you kind of need them all. He's going professional. He's got a background as well, you'd be pleased to know, because I know we were blinded by his light the other day.
I miss his kitchen already. I love seeing those kitchen cupboards. Them pans never move, but I know he uses them. He just must put them back so intrinsically perfectly. It's unreal.
Jeff's kitchen. Someone said there was a better kitchen in Syria. Someone commented on the comment. We'll bring Jeff back, but I don't want to have Jeff on as much until we can get this internet, because he knows himself. He's dropping out. He's like, the internet connection is not stable. David, aka Basil, still doing his uni. Stevie is going to try and get on for the post match. It'll be, I don't know whether he'll do the post match. It'll probably be me. But John is in India at the moment. Mabsy will be possibly available on Wednesday night. So I'm hoping we've got a few people available. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on. And Jeff, one of our main guys, as you know, is on most streams. The internet's not really working. So we're trying to get that sorted. For now, you're going to have to put it with me. I've been on nearly every stream, and lovely Amy, who's been a breath of fresh air. Amy, you've got your new setup, I believe, soon.
I do. It came today. There was people downstairs when it come, and I come in, and I unboxed it, and I was like, oh, I wonder what this could be for me. And they were like, is that a blue Yeti? And I was like, yeah.
So you've got a mic, you've got a camera, and you're going to be able to do streams from the computer. And
right.
So when the technical issues happen, you'll be the IT expert.
Yeah. I'll just turn it on and off again. You know, when your nan's dead impressed with you and she's like, oh, you fixed it. And you're like, yeah, I fixed that. Don't worry about that. That's as good as I got.
We need someone to literally work in Jeff's house and troubleshoot everything, because it's just everything goes wrong for him. My internet is great. The guy had Jeff had a download speed of 8 megabyte and an upload speed of less than half of 500 kilobytes. You know, he
was very proud of that 8 megabytes.
It's like back in the day when I lived at home and we had dial-up, and my mum used to say to me, Ryan, you need to write down how long you've been on the internet for, because it was timed and it was really slow. Let's do some comments then. But first, Amy, your prediction. And you go with your heart and your head. Do a heart and head.
My heart says 0-0. That's as good as it gets. My head says it's going to be a solid 3-1 Arsenal, 3-0 Arsenal.
Yeah.
I don't know if...
tend to agree with you. I think if we put out your team, I think it'll possibly be a 6-0 Arsenal. They'll pull us apart. Do you know why? Can I explain to you tactically why that won't work?
Oh, go on then.
The centre backs will get dragged into midfield. It'll leave space in behind, and it'll be like an absolute field day.
Carnage.
It'll be carnage. The ball will go long to Mope and it won't stick. It'll come straight back at us. I'm not saying it's any much worse than anyone else's. It's probably just as bad as every other option we've got. It's just, I personally don't like the extra person in the back line against teams that flood midfield and dominate midfield and have a lot of technical midfielders, because I think it basically invites them on. If it's a 5-4-1, then possibly we'll be okay. That is absolute shut. Is it a 5-4-1?
Yeah, it's a 5-4-1.
Oh, well, then we're shut up shop. It's a brilliant team.
There's 4 in midfield. We've got a line, and a chance to score.
But I don't want Cody coming into midfield. I don't want Cody being forced to come into midfield to make up the numbers and press and leaving space. Do you understand why it could be?
Yeah, I get that, but can Cody move that fluidly to get into midfield? Does he not just stay there? Like,
what is wrong with him? It's like his legs are glued together. He keeps them really close.
Yeah.
That second goal versus Villa, he just kind of needs to open his body up and show him down. The only place that the attacker's meant to be going is down the side of him. So should be showing him in that direction anyway and anticipating it. Bloody Tarkovsky's pointing at him saying, go to the right,
move.
It's a mess. I think Godfrey stops that goal because I think he's got the agility to turn. But then, yeah. Does my granny remember us winning a trophy? That's from Neil Michaels. Probably. She's 95 next week.
Happy birthday, Granny.
She will have seen us win pretty much everything we've ever won. And I believe she did have a season ticket with my dad and her husband, who's my dad's dad, who's not here. Obviously, he'd be like 110 or something, I think, at this point. Right. Who's going to score the goals? And what's your predictions, guys, in the comments? Iwobi or Onana can score. The thing is, Amy, we don't have any players with a historical good goal scoring record. Mope doesn't score goals. McNeil doesn't score goals. Onana doesn't score goals. Garner doesn't score goals. The fullbacks don't really score. In every team, you've got goal scorers. I keep hoping
for an Iwobi goal. That one against United at home, beginning of the season, that was a screamer. That. I just want him to do something like that again, but I'm not expecting it from him either. Like the other roles, he does well right now, and I'm more than happy for him to float around in the midfield and get those chances up if the chances can be executed.
Why can't Iwobi be the new Pina, coming in off the wing, tucking in, and actually having a full-back bombing on behind him to hold the width? Is it the fact we don't have anyone who can do the holding the width bit? Because he's good when he comes off the side, and I think McNeil is better when he stays a bit wider. He can get the ball in. And
yeah. I think he probably could be, to be honest. I just don't know if we want to play like that anymore. Like Dyche said in his press conference before, it's not just down to one person to score. You can all have a go at scoring. Maybe they don't have the mentality behind them that, oh yeah, I could physically score this if I'm up there and I have the chance to shoot. Why not? Like Decore the other week when his legs were stuck together, and he just was like, "What do you want me to do here? I don't score goals."
Decore is waiting for the Messiah before he lets rip with his
Yeah,
gets in good positions and refuses to shoot.
waiting for someone shouter.
People are saying another month of technical problems for Jeff. Yeah, I think so. Hopefully it won't be
Poor
any longer
Jeff.
than that. A month today, poor Jeff, because he's desperate to come on. He's got his fancy new kit, and he can't really use it. I'm sure you'll see him. You just might not see him very clearly, like us do. Yeah, Amy's going to get set up with her stuff. I think she's just waiting on a chair to arrive.
He keeps telling me off because I'm a student and I don't have a desk chair. He expects me to have a dining room table with chairs. Or a dining room table. So I'm finally getting a chair to do my uni work though, so all my lecturers are going to absolutely love him. Who's this?
These comments. Simon saying he played Godfrey if Coleman is rested, not Holgate. Holgate was quite a good right back under Ancelotti when it was shutting up shop, and Godfrey played left back. But it did kill us the fact we didn't have anyone who could get forward in the fullback positions and also defend. It was like one or the other. You can have your attacking option, but you'll concede, or you can have your defensive option, but you won't score. Tazul saying he's sticking his neck out and going for a 1-1. Very brave. Mr. Blue Sky is saying that it's going to be a 3-0 loss. The Blues, one of our regulars as well, saying, bold of you, Amy, to think we'll score a goal. Or as Amy likes to put it, a whole goal.
A whole goal.
A real goal, and not from a set piece as well, would be a preference.
A real one.
I can't remember the last time we scored a fucking goal, which was decent. 16 goals all season. I mean, it's
wild, isn't it?
It's sickening. Mark is saying we don't have a chance unless Gray plays. Because, I mean, agree. The pace that you've got to have Ben Godfrey and Damari Gray. You've got to find a way into this team. It's not going to happen. He's going to go with the same team with Sims up front. I can assure you.
Have them two down the same side. It'd be like Roadrunner. Like, we actually wouldn't stop, I don't think. But
I think Godfrey could do the high intensity, high press sort of thing, and yeah, it's just frustrating. Michaelenko didn't do anything wrong against Villa, really, so he probably won't be dropped. And he's one that is young enough and fit enough probably to play 3 times this week.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, teams are playing with Europa League and Champions League midweek and then 2 Premier League games, so we can't make excuses. He'll probably keep with the same team with Sims, as I've said before. David's mentioning the new stadium. It looks great. It'll look great in League One as well.
They'd still charge us 60 quid a ticket for it. I'm dreading it, mate. If I don't get my season ticket for that, I am going to be absolutely shafted, to not use a better term. I'm sorry.
The Blues is saying Iwobi's only goal from outside the box was against United. It was in vain. We ended up losing the game.
Was it in his whole career, that? Oh, and we saw it with our eyes. And with my real eyes.
Can this one be read out, or is it a bit too...
Won't score in a brothel, as my dad would say, which is a terrible thing to say.
Kevin says if Mope scores, he'll shit himself.
Pictures of your pants and nothing else if it didn't happen.
The stadium's going up as we are going down. I mean, just fucking infuriating, isn't it, really?
It's a brilliant chant. I might start that one next game. I've just got to think of a tune for it.
I would just wish, I mean, it's the whole thing had been avoidable. The cost of relegation, as I say, is far more than overpaying by 5 or 10 million for a proven striker. Yeah. You should have cherry-picked someone and said, you're going to be our main man, and you're going to play up front with Calvert-Lewin or on your own, and we're going into the new stadium and you're going to be a hero.
Yeah.
But something not quite right there, and the money's gone down a black hole. Jeff says that we are an amazing double act.
No.
Are we the new Dan and Yan? Amy gives her views, and Ryan says why it's rubbish. I mean, that is exactly, that's it today.
That we've always got along, really, innit?
It's always got along. But you speak 90% sense. So I really challenge you on the 5 at the back with the Mope.
He's making me a better person, one challenge at a time.
Simon says we're complete shite. Make sure if you're new here, you like and subscribe, of course, as well. Always like and subscribe if you're new. What should we do? What should they do, Amy?
Oh, if you are new here, you should subscribe. If you're not new, you should turn your notifications on. Like it. Share it with your friends. Something about next door's cat, you always say. Tell your milkman if you still have a milkman in the 80s. Tell a man in the shop. Get on the bus, tell him. All the rest of it.
Very good. Got her well trained. And she's got the password for the admin now. She's in the trusted circle. I'm going to do a hands-free thing where she brings up a couple of comments.
Oh, my God. Oh, right. Oh, I'm sorry. Right.
Because people were saying, why is she not in the trusted circle?
Miko actually created 2 chances against Villa. He was good. I think he's all right. I think he'll get there eventually, to be fair. I've got to put this one in because it says, Kevin, a whole goal, love Amy, she's boss. So obviously if I'm choosing comments, I'm going to do ones that make me look good. Thanks, Kevin. I love him.
You've got big shoes to fill because the guy who was on before you used to come on and pretend he had a boner on the stream and all sorts of stuff. One of our players should tackle Arteta first minute, let him know he's busy.
And Eugene knows as well exactly what you all have to do. So there you go. That's how I'm going in the order of comments. There is, right at the very bottom of my screen, a big black spot, so I can only see them when they go 2 up as well. Like, or I've got
I know.
Look around it. Yeah, no.
The joys of being on your phone. Well, is there anything else anyone wants to talk about before we wrap things up? Is there anything you want to talk about? I think we've covered Arsenal. We know how they're going to play. Fast football, transition. They're going to try and play through the midfield. We're going to try and stifle it. I imagine we'll try and play dirty, break up play, time waste, get in their faces, take the fouls, shut up shop, be solid defensively, see if we can get someone to hold the ball up and go from there, play for set pieces. Just don't make it easy for Arsenal. If we treat the game like we did at Goodison, I think we can get a result. But I think we could quite possibly get swarmed and overwhelmed under the atmosphere. I think the team is a very difficult one to pick because we have the game on Sunday. There's clamour for changes. There's clamour for keeping the same team. So that's a difficult one. We've covered all the injuries. We've covered form. We've covered historical form. We've looked at absolutely everything. I don't think there's anything else we can go. So we'll just go to an open forum now for the last 5 minutes. If you've got anything you want to ask, we'll answer anything whatsoever, even personal questions. We'll answer. We are going to run a competition also, just to let you know, where we're giving away 2 free tickets for Everton versus Brentford. If you want to put yourself through it, I'm going to share the link on Twitter. I think hopefully tomorrow, and then more information will be there. I can't divulge too much yet, but keep a lookout for that. And that's our new sponsor helping us. And hopefully we'll have a giveaway 2 free tickets to Everton versus Brentford.
It's like a threat that before it's an offer, and it like, well, come and watch Everton. Have a terrible day.
Would you like a day out to remember for the wrong reasons? Get yourself down to Goodison Park. We've never played so shitely. Everton, you know we're gonna lose.
You do get a hot walk out of it, though. You have to pay for it yourself. Obviously, we're not funding that, but
yeah, it's Chinese. No, we're in corporate now. Ready, best, or are we? How's the degree going?
It's degreeing, Kevin. It's stress. No, it's going all right. Thank you very much. Who knows? Maybe in a few years, I might actually have one. We'll see when it comes to it. But it's all right. It'll do for now.
Yeah. I know. That's it, Neil. It's one of those. If that does happen, I think there'll be people pissed off and furious. But at the same time, if he changes the team and we get battered, people will be saying, why would he change the only decent players we've got? Yeah, unfortunately, competition law dictates I have to do this properly. So I will post it and you'll be excited to know who the sponsor. It's not really a sponsor, but we're in a partnership with. I will post it so we can give the tickets away on behalf of them. Mark's giving his team Coleman, Tarkowski, Cody, and Godfrey. So the main change there in defence is Godfrey in at left back for the Mikalenko, who's done nothing wrong, and he's kept Coleman in, who's tired probably. And he's brought in Davis for Decore, packed the midfield. Are we good? Thank you, Mark. And FGA Football said he feels sorry for us. Well, I'm nearly 30 this year, and I feel quite depressed. I actually started this channel, Amy. I don't know if you know, we were in the top 4 with Carlo Ancelotti, James Rodriguez,
It come up on my memories the other
Sigurdsson.
day. Screenshots of us top of the table. We'd won 4 games. We'd played 4 games. It was wild. We sat here and cried about it for a good hour. We were both looking at it and we were like, do you remember that?
But not even that. We were fighting for top 4. We were top of the league, I think, or second on Boxing Day. And we were fighting for top 4. You're fighting for top 4 up until probably February when I started the channel. And then as soon as I started coming on here, the whole thing went tits up. Right, I think it's time to wrap things up.
Look at us. It's a
Wrap
school
up the
night. We're all up
burrito.
at 9:15. Christ.
And we'll see you for the match reaction on Wednesday night. Someone will be doing it. I don't know who. I know it's like a lottery here at the moment. But it'll be worth watching. Hit the like button for me right now. Thank you, Kevin. Much appreciated. Jeff, thank you so much. Neil, FGA, and everyone else watching. I've had a nice little audience, and hopefully if you're watching this back, you'll also like and subscribe. We're nearly at 2,000 subscribers. Let's try and get over the line. Amy, you need to get some subscribers in for us now.
I'll post our ads around the university common rooms and such and all the rest of it, and post flyers. I don't know what more you want.
Probably wouldn't go that far, but you've got people on Twitter. Who likes our new banners? Everton Fan TV.
Look at me.
Look, Amy,
I was
where
really
you're on
impressed by that, I was dead happy with that.
And the new graphics. We're doing quite well. Neil said the post-match will be worth watching even if the game wasn't. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Kevin says I'll do it. You know what, Kevin? I will do it. I'll be here on Wednesday crying my eyes out in the corner of my bedroom with that face on, and I'm like, we're just shit. I just can't be up.
If you actually do want to know who's going to be on, it's not going to be Jan because he's at the game. It's not going to be Stevie because he's at the game. It's not going to be John because he's at the game. So it'll either be me, Amy, Mavsy, Jeff, and Basil. I imagine all 5 of us at some point will be on that stream, dropping in and out. So watch that. Enjoy the game. Try not to feel like too much shit. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Any closing words?
Oh no, thanks for joining us on a wild Monday night. It was fun though.
Goodbye.
Bye.